You've been taught that intelligence equals success. Let's bust that myth wide open. Sick of overthinking everything and getting nowhere? Maybe it's time to embrace the stupid way of winning. What if I told you that all your planning and thinking might be the reason you're stuck? Here's why stupid always wins. By the end of this exploration of Schopenhauer's philosophy, you might find yourself questioning whether intelligence is really all it's cracked up to be. It may even lead you to wonder if living a life of peace and simplicity might be preferable to endlessly striving for intellectual greatness. Schopenhauer's radical ideas about intelligence have shocked thinkers for centuries, and they still resonate today. He argued that intelligence, instead of being a gift, carries hidden dangers that few people truly understand. These dangers, according to Schopenhauer, can strip us of peace, happiness, and the ability to genuinely enjoy life. Born in 1788, Schopenhauer was deeply familiar with life's struggles. His philosophy was shaped by a world filled with suffering, uncertainty, and disillusionment. While many philosophers of his time were focused on grand ideals of progress and reason, Schopenhauer chose to look into the darker sides of the human condition. He wasn't interested in comforting us with rosy views about human potential. Instead, he exposed uncomfortable truths about life, many of which still make us uneasy to this day. One of Schopenhauer's most striking revelations was his view on intelligence. For Schopenhauer, intelligence was not simply the ability to solve problems or accumulate knowledge. It was far more complicated and, in his view, it was a double-edged sword. Intelligence could elevate a person to great heights, but it could also plunge them into despair. The more intelligent someone was, the more acutely they experienced life's suffering. This is a concept that many of us can relate to. Have you ever felt that the more you understand the world, the more alienated or disillusioned you became? That's precisely what Schopenhauer meant. His paradox was that intelligence doesn't just increase our understanding, it also amplifies our sensitivity to the painful realities of existence. The brighter the light of understanding, the darker the shadows it casts. In other words, an intelligent person sees through the illusions that most of us rely on to make life bearable. They see the futility of chasing endless desires, the transient nature of success, and the inevitability of loss. This kind of awareness can lead to profound insights, but can also leave a person feeling isolated, overwhelmed, and detached from the simple joys that others seem to find easily. Schopenhauer's view on intelligence ties closely to what is known as existential dread. Existential philosophers, such as Søren Kierkegaard and Jean-Paul Sartre, later explored this idea, which revolves around the understanding that the universe is indifferent to us. The more we comprehend the universe and our place in it, the more we realize that life has no inherent meaning. This is a burden that the highly intelligent bear more intensely than others. Their heightened awareness can strip away the distractions that allow others to find contentment in the mundane, while a less intelligent person might find joy in routine or shallow pursuits. An intelligent individual often sees through these things, rendering them hollow and unsatisfying. Does this mean that intelligence is inherently bad? Schopenhauer didn't think so. He recognized the value of intelligence, but he urged us to see it for what it truly is, a tool, not a solution. Many intelligent people fall into the trap of over-relying on their intellect to navigate life, hoping that it will lead them to happiness. But Schopenhauer argued that happiness is not a product of knowledge or reasoning. It comes from something far simpler, and paradoxically, something less cerebral, peace of mind. This brings us to a crucial question. How often have you found yourself consumed by overthinking? How many sleepless nights have you spent analyzing, second-guessing, and trying to find answers to questions that have no answer? Schopenhauer would say this is the curse of intelligence, a restless mind that can't stop searching, even when there's nothing to find. If intelligence is such a double-edged sword, what can we do about it? Should we suppress our curiosity, turn away from seeking knowledge, or strive to become less aware? Schopenhauer's answer was surprisingly practical. While he didn't suggest abandoning intelligence, he did emphasize the importance of managing its effects. Schopenhauer believed that cultivating tranquility, inner calm and detachment, was the antidote to the turmoil caused by an overactive mind. Tranquility, according to Schopenhauer, requires us to accept certain hard truths about life. First, we must acknowledge that suffering is an inevitable part of the human experience. Instead of resisting it or trying to outthink it, we should learn to coexist with it. Second, we must recognize the limits of our understanding. No matter how intelligent we are, there will always be mysteries we cannot solve and questions we cannot answer. Accepting this reality can free us from the exhausting pursuit of certainty. Finally, Schopenhauer urged us to seek meaning, not in grand achievements or intellectual conquests, but in the fleeting moments of beauty and connection that life offers. A sunset, a piece of music, a quiet conversation with a loved one. These are the treasures that even the most brilliant mind cannot improve upon. In his philosophy, Schopenhauer also explores the concept of isolation, something that is closely tied to intelligence. To understand why intelligence leads to isolation, we must first examine a core idea in Schopenhauer's thought, the will to live. For Schopenhauer, the will to live is the fundamental force driving all existence. It's an irrational, relentless impulse that compels every living being to survive, reproduce, and strive, often in the face of inevitable suffering. The will, however, is indifferent to the happiness or well-being of the individual. It drives us relentlessly, without regard for our peace of mind. Intelligent people, Schopenhauer argued, are particularly susceptible to the negative effects of the will. A less intelligent person might live in harmony with the will, blindly pursuing desires without questioning their deeper meaning or purpose. But for the highly intelligent, this is a different story. Their heightened awareness allows them to see through the illusions of the will and recognize the futility of chasing one desire after another. This clarity, however, comes at a cost. It creates a disconnection between the intelligent individual and the rest of humanity. How can someone who sees the emptiness of endless striving relate to those who are content with superficial pursuits? This disconnect can make the intelligent person feel like an outsider, observing rather than participating in the human experience. Schopenhauer's philosophy offers a way to transcend this sense of isolation through the power of art and contemplation. He believed that art, particularly music, offers a unique escape from the suffering of the will. When we engage with art, whether it's music, literature, or visual beauty, we enter a state of pure perception. In these moments, we are no longer consumed by our desires or the demands of the will. Instead, we experience a rare kind of freedom, where we can simply observe and appreciate life without the weight of striving. Schopenhauer saw music as the highest form of art because it directly expresses the will and transcends language and intellect. Music speaks to something deeper in us, offering a momentary respite from the chaos of existence. You may have experienced this yourself, when a piece of music, a painting, or a story moved you so deeply that the worries of life seemed to fade away. Schopenhauer believed that these moments of transcendence are opportunities to step outside the cycle of suffering and glimpse a higher truth. But Schopenhauer's teachings go further. He believed that intelligence could also be used to cultivate a state of detachment, which he called quieting the will. Quieting the will means stepping back from the constant striving and desires that dominate our lives and embracing a perspective of acceptance and tranquility. This practice can be challenging in a world that celebrates ambition, success, and the relentless pursuit of goals. However, Schopenhauer's wisdom teaches us that true fulfillment doesn't come from achieving more or knowing more. It comes from letting go of desires, expectations, and the need to constantly make sense of everything. In conclusion, Schopenhauer's philosophy offers a profound critique of intelligence. While intelligence can be a gift, it can also isolate us, burden us with an awareness of life's harsh realities, and prevent us from finding true happiness. Schopenhauer's antidote is not to abandon intelligence but to manage it, by cultivating inner peace, detachment, and a deeper understanding of life's inherent contradictions. True wisdom, according to Schopenhauer, lies not in the accumulation of knowledge, but in the acceptance of life's complexities, embracing both its joys and sorrows. By doing so, we can find a more authentic, lasting form of happiness. Ultimately, Schopenhauer's ideas challenge us to reconsider the value of intelligence and how we relate to the world. Intelligence, while a powerful tool, can also become a burden if we allow it to dictate our lives. By embracing the paradoxes of existence and learning to quiet the will, we can transcend the limitations of intellect and achieve a deeper, more meaningful life.